Okay, so good morning. We're about to start our second session of the tutorial for the Realtour Marketing Suite. Once again, everyone can see my screen. I'm logged into my Realtour account, and this is my dashboard page. Okay, so same place as yesterday. Now, yesterday we went through the marketing products. We did the photo shoots, virtual tours, e-flyers, and print materials. Okay, so these are the typical tools that our agents will use to market their listings. But for today's session, we're going to go through the tools down here in the bottom row, and we call these more branding tools because you don't really use these tools to market a listing. You're using them more to brand yourself, or you can use some of these tools just to stay in touch with your clients. Okay? And today's session will be shorter than yesterday. It's only about 40 minutes, so we'll get through it, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Feel free to interrupt if I'm talking too much or too fast. It's no problem. Okay, so let's get started. So the first branding product that we're going to look at today is newsletters right here. All right, so what I'm going to do is click on Create a Newsletter. All right, so we have two different options for the template types. Basically, we have ready to send newsletters, and these are basically just as they're described. They are ready to send. They're full of content. They've got all kinds of articles, links to articles, all kinds of text, interesting facts, recipes, fun stuff, and all kinds of imagery. They're basically completely good to go. You don't have to do anything to these ones, okay? Then we also have what we call build my own newsletter. So these templates, typically we will give you a header and a footer with some kind of graphical element that you can add your own headline and stuff to, but then the body of the actual newsletter is empty. So you need to copy and paste or type in your own articles, your own text, your own content. You can upload your own images and then drag and drop those into the body of the newsletter, and you can have them, the content is entirely up to you, okay? So you've got two options. So let's get started. Let's say we want to do a ready to send newsletter. So I'm just going to click on that. First thing it asks me is to enter a name for my newsletter blast. Now this is not the subject line, okay? This is just for me to give it my own file name just in case I'm the kind of agent who does a lot of newsletters. I might have a lot saved in my existing newsletter page, and this is just for my own personal benefit. So let's say this is my Christmas newsletter to best clients, okay? Just so I can differentiate it from maybe another Christmas newsletter I'm sending to someone else. So I'm just going to hit save. Okay, now it's going to bring me into the back end of the newsletter creator. Now this page might look a little bit familiar from what we did yesterday. Okay, remember we have a navigation bar that goes across the width of the page, just like we did yesterday in the virtual tour creator and in the e-flyer and in the print material, same situation, so you can jump around. Now this page, this is our template library. It is set up the exact same way that our e-flyer and our print creator template libraries are set up. We have all of our categories down here on the left-hand side, and then we have little thumbnails of our newsletters, okay? So for our different categories, we have these set up so you can choose by month. So we've organized them by month. If you just want to make it easy, you could just click on December, and here are all of our December themed newsletters. So that's a time saver if you want to do it that way. Or you can also click on View by Category, and then you can go through and see all the different types of categories that we have. So some of these are very real estate centered, like buyer's tips and mortgage information and, selling tips, things like that. But then we also have some fun ones like gardening and entertaining, do-it-yourself decorating, just some fun ones. Basically, the ready-to-send newsletters are designed for agents to stay in touch with their clients. So if you've just sold, I don't know, a new house to clients and it's their very first house, you might want to stay in touch with them over the next few months with just some fun, friendly tips on how to move, how to get your mortgage set up, how to get everything going when it's your first property, right? Or you might have clients who've been your clients for years and years, and they're downsizing. They're downsizing from their family home to a condo. Then we've got some downsizing ones, and you might just want to, just for fun, just to stay in touch, send them a downsizing one, right? So these are really designed for our agents just to stay in touch, reach out to their clients. So for today, just for fun, because it's December, let's go into December and let's do a Christmassy one. Okay, so here are all our templates, and just like yesterday, we have a preview and a select button. So if I click on preview, it just gives me a pop-up of a larger version of the template so I can see it because it's really small here in the library. You'll have to bear with me, guys, because when we're on webinar, everything loads a little bit slower. There we go. So these now newsletters are long, right? So I can scroll down and take a look at all the different content in here. And at the very bottom, if the footer is branded with my contact info, my headshot logo and contact info, but everything in the middle is done for me. Okay, and this is just a pop-up so I can close it. Now if I find the newsletter that I want to use, I just click select, same as we did yesterday when we were making an e-flyer. Now it brings me into the template editor. Now the nice thing about this page is I don't have to edit any of the content in the middle. In fact, I can't. If I click in here, nothing's going to happen. I can scroll down to the very bottom to the footer. The only thing I can edit on this ready to send newsletter is the footer information, okay? So headshot, contact information, logo. And I do that over here. Here's my little panel with my tabs. First tab is contact details. If I want to change any of my contact information, I do it right here in one of these fields. So for example, if I want to change the phone number I've got on there, I just type it right in here. And you'll see as I was typing it in here, it was updating right here in the actual footer. If I don't want to include my website, delete, and it's gone, okay? So that's how you handle all your contact information. Very simple, you just do it right here. Okay, social media. If I want to add links to any of my social media pages, I can do that right here. So basically, I need to go to my Facebook page and copy and paste my URL for my Facebook page. Same with YouTube, same with LinkedIn, Twitter, and etc. Okay? Now, just to save time, I'm just going to type in a letter rather than go in and copy and paste a bunch of URLs because that'll just take some time. Okay? Now I've got all links to all of my social media right here. Next up is personal message. If I want to send a little personal message that displays at the top of my newsletter, I can just type that in here. So I could say, you know, Merry Christmas, everyone. Maybe I'm sending this to 10 people. You know, hope the holidays are great. Whatever you want to say, you know. You can type a whole paragraph of text. Whoops. As I said yesterday, my typing skills are terrible. So you can have a whole paragraph of text if you want. That's up to you. But this is a nice little personal message that will display at the top of your newsletter, okay? And then again, we have my headshots and my logos. And remember yesterday we went through my account and I showed you how to upload those when you first make your account. So again, these are the same headshots and same logos that I uploaded in my account. They were the same headshots and logos that showed up when I was making my virtual tour and my e-flyer, so on and so forth. So they're right here. If I want to change my headshots and logos, yesterday we did a lot of dragging and dropping. With newsletter, we just click, okay? And then it appears into the body of the footer right there, okay? So I can just click. Same with logos. Maybe I want a different logo. There we go. So we're done, okay? So we're done with the editor. We can either continue or we can go to view proof. Doesn't matter. We'll end up at the same place. Before we hit the view proof, it's going to force us to enter a subject line for our newsletter. So this is the same as the e-flyer situation. Whenever you send someone an email, you typically put in a subject. So you have to do that with your newsletter as well. So we could say, you know, happy holidays, whoops, to my best clients. Okay, save. Okay, and now it's going to take us to the view proof page. All right, now we're on the view proof page. So this just gives us a chance to see what the newsletter is going to look like when someone gets it in their email. And as I said yesterday when we were going through the e-flyer, it's really, really important to view the proof because once this goes out, you can't get it back. So if you have a mistake somewhere in here, you know, your client, once you blast it, your client's going to get the one with the mistake. Now you could send another one, but it just doesn't look very good. It doesn't look professional that you've had to do it twice. So just take a minute and view the proof. So here we go. There's my subject line, happy holidays. Okay, it's coming from me. Here's my little personal message, Merry Christmas everyone at the top. Here's the body of my newsletter, all good. There's my social media, and as I mouse over them, you'll see they're live. So if I had put proper URLs, I would click on each of these to make sure they go to the right page, but I didn't do that just to save time for today, but you get the idea. You can click on these, okay? There we go. Scroll back up to the top. Now I can hit continue or I can go to distribution. Same thing. That's the next step, distribution. Okay, so the difference between newsletter distribution for ready to send and e-flyers In eFlyers, we had two options. We could use the map blaster, which you might remember we made a target area on the map, or we could, email to our own personal contacts. With the ready to send newsletters, they are only available to send out to your personal contacts. And the reason we've done that is because the ready to send newsletters are really not appropriate to send to other agents, right? Other agents don't need information on moving tips and handling your mortgage, that kind of stuff. They don't need that. They're real estate agents. These newsletters are designed for agents to send to their clients, okay? And our Map Blaster, our database, is only full of real estate agent email addresses, so there's no point in using it. So if you're going to do ready to send, you're going to send these newsletters to your own personal client lists. And you can do that by clicking right here. And this is the exact same pop-up that we had yesterday. So you can type in an actual email address. You can type them in, you can copy and paste them in here into this field if you want. You can upload a CSV file, and that's what you have if you have an Excel spreadsheet full of all of your email addresses. You can save it as CSV and upload it. You can import contacts if you have a Gmail account, and you can do the same if you have a Yahoo account. Once you've got your list in here, you can also give it a name, My Fave Clients, okay, and then you can save the list. And when you save the list, it shows up down here in your list, and then you can just tick and then hit continue, and it'll go to your favorite clients. This just means that it just saves you the hassle of having to do this every time. If you're someone who sends out a lot of e-flyers, or you might be someone who likes to send out a lot of newsletters, you don't want to go through the hassle of having to enter all of your email addresses every time. So just save the list, and for example, my client gold list, just tick. I want it to go to them, I want it to go to them. All the people I want it to go to, I just tick. Okay, that's all you have to do. Okay, now I've got 18 people. I'm going to hit continue. Back on the distribution page. So here's my summary, 18 people. There's my fee. Over here, you have two payment options for ready to send. You can sign up for a monthly subscription for $19.99, and that means you can send unlimited newsletters to whoever you want, as many newsletters as you want throughout the month for $19.99. Now this option is great for someone who likes to send newsletters, likes to stay in touch with their clients. Maybe they send a specific newsletter to individual clients instead of just sending one to their whole group. That's a perfect option for them. If you're the kind of person who just wants to send maybe a seasonal newsletter, maybe you just want to send one at Christmas, or you want to send one, I don't know, over Easter or Thanksgiving or something, we have a one-time use of $29.99 as well, okay? Maybe you just want to send it to all of your clients, so it's not worth it to spend, obviously, $20 a month for the whole year, okay? So you can do the one-time blast as well. And then once I hit continue, this will go into my shopping cart. Once I pay for it, it goes out. Just like an e-flyer, as soon as it is paid for, it starts going out. Okay? So that is our ready to send newsletter. Now I'm just going to jump back and quickly show you the build your own newsletter. Click on create a newsletter. This time I'm going to choose build my own. We won't go through the whole process, but I'll just show you what it looks like. Again, I need to enter a name just for my own files. My holiday. Whoops. Okay. All right, now when you build your own, you have some options with the layout. So we have layouts where all the content, there's like a left column, right column, horizontal, and then just 3 columns in the middle. So let's say I'm going to choose the left column. It brings me back into the back end, so this looks familiar. There's that navigation bar across the top. We're in the template library. Now you'll notice we don't have as many categories for the build your own newsletters, okay? But you can click on holidays, Christmas. There we go, there's the Christmas ones. I could click on preview and it would pop up. Let's do this one. I'm going to click select. There we go. It takes me into the template editor. So this page looks the same as the other template editor, but we don't have a lot of information, right? We don't have all the content. We've got a nice header. We've got a footer that's partially auto-populated right here with my name and information. And then my body is empty. So my options over here, newsletter photos. I can upload my own images. So for example, I can click on upload images. Now on my desktop, I have a folder called images, so let's just take one picture. Now I could upload a whole bunch if I wanted, but just for today, let's just upload one. It's going to upload that JPEG right now, and it'll show up as a little mini thumbnail in here. I think it's a large JPEG. Sorry guys, I should have chosen a smaller one, but once it gets uploaded, I can then drag and drop it into the template. Oh, here we go. And there we go. Okay, so I can click on it. There it is. I can drag and drop it over here into my template. And I can click on it and I can change the size of it, make it a bit bigger. Okay, I can then click underneath it and I can add my own text, right? Now you can also copy and paste text. If you have an article from like an online magazine that you wanted to put in here, you can just copy the text from that and come over here, click and paste it. You have a few options. You have a little text box editor here where you can, you know, bold, use italics. You can change the font. You have some options with your fonts, right? You can change the size, the color. You can add a link. So if you wanted this to link to an article somewhere, you can make it link, okay? So you have a few more options in here. Same thing, social media. We can do the same thing with the ready to send. Add in your little social media icons just like we did before. Personal message, you can add a personal message. And then your headshots and logos. And this one, you drag and drop them into the template, okay? You can also add an extra row. So if you want to add, you know, have a divider between whatever content you have here and then you want another row, you can add another row as well. So you have a little more freedom. Well, I shouldn't say a little more. You have a lot more freedom with the build your own newsletter. So if you're the kind of person who wants to, you know, add your own content, this is the option for you. We find a lot of our clients, I don't know, it's a lot of work making a newsletter. So most of our clients prefer just the ready to send ones because they can pick one that's good to go and send it off and then they're done. Okay, so then again, we would view the proof. And we have to enter a real subject line, which I'm not doing right now, but you get the idea because this is what they're going to see when they open it. We're on the view proof page. Distribution. Now this time we do have the option of using the map blast. And the reason for that is we don't know what kind of content you are putting in your build your own newsletter. You might be actually advertising a listing. You might be having some content in there that is appropriate and beneficial and of interest to other agents. We don't know that, okay? The content is entirely up to you. So in this case, you might want to use the map blast tool and actually blast it out to other real estate agents. It's the exact same map blast tool that we went through yesterday for the e-flyer, right? So remember yesterday we can click and we can make the target area smaller, bigger. We can click on it and move it around. Every time we move it, we get a new update over here with how many agents, a new summary and how much it's going to cost. Okay, so you remember that from yesterday? And this is just a Google map, so I can zoom in as well, move around. I could zoom way out if I wanted to and add an additional target area. For whatever reason, there's my little purple one. Maybe I want this to go to Round Rock as well. Who knows? Entirely up to you. Okay, when you're done, you just hit continue. Okay, now the fee for this is the same as an e-flyer blast, okay? So it's not like the ready to send where you can do the subscription or you can do the $29.99 one-time blast. These go out just like an e-flyer. It's the same fee. You can add your own personal contacts just like we did, you know, a minute ago, same thing. And when you're done, you hit continue, you go to the shopping cart and you pay. Once you've paid, this goes out just like an e-flyer. It goes out immediately. There's no getting it back, okay? So let's jump back to the dashboard. That takes us through the newsletter. Ready to send and build your own. Those are your two options. Next up we have listing presentations. So basically our listing presentation is designed to be, basically it's like a little digital resume. It's a little presentation about yourself, the agent, that you can use to help win new business. If you're meeting with a new client, you might want to send them this little digital listing presentation so that they find out a little bit about you, what kind of services you offer, you know, what your history is, what your marketing plans are, what kind of pricing strategy you'll do for them. There's a little section at the back for testimonials about yourself, that kind of thing, okay? So that's really what our listing presentation is. Now let's go and click on Create New so we can see from the beginning. Again, we're in the back end. We've got a navigation bar across the top. It's dumped us right into the template library because we opted to create new rather than work on an existing presentation, which we could. I'll click on existing presentations. This is what the page looks like. These are my existing ones, okay? I'm going to create a new one. Now, the template library is set up a little bit differently. Basically, instead of categories, we choose the color scheme. And then I have 3 different templates that go with this color scheme. So this is blue. Maybe I want to do green. These are the green ones. Burgundy, whatever appeals to you. Right now we have 3 different template types. We have one that is generic. We have one that features a female agent, and we have one that features a male agent, okay? If I want to see what these look like, I can click on preview, just like all of our libraries. I get a little pop-up, and this is what my finished product could look like when it has information in it. And I can turn the pages, go through the little presentation. Okay, it's got topics of discussion. It has different sections. This one's all about, the real estate agent's profile. It's got text in here. Okay, I can either turn the pages or just use the little controls, next, next, next. There's a section on the agency that I work for. Then I have a section on my staging strategy. I have a section on my pricing strategy, all my marketing stuff. If I jump to the end, I have a back page here that has my, my branding stuff on it. I can go back a couple pages. Here's my closing statement. These are my testimonials. Now you'll notice on all of these pages, we've already included images, okay? So you are not going to provide your own images. Most real estate agents don't have an image bank with all their own images. So we've done that for you so you don't have to do that. Now we've also included text. A lot of the pages, this text, as you can see, this is just sample text that we've put in so you can get an idea of how your finished product could look. Obviously, you're going to put your own text in here because these are testimonials. However, there are a lot of sections in here, like negotiating strategy, staging strategy, where we have put text in for you, and you do not have to change the text if you don't want to. So I would say probably 80 to 85% of this presentation is completely finished. Now you do have the option of going in and editing little bits and pieces, but if there are sections where you're happy with the text, you can just leave it. Okay, so that means you've got a big chunk of the presentation is finished for you. And we find that with most of our products, the ones that our clients use the most are the ones that are almost all done for them. Okay? All right, so it just saves them time. So this is just a sample. Let's close this and let's actually go in. Let's hit select and actually go into the editor. Now the first thing it's asking me to do is give it a name. So let's just say this is my year-end 2016 presentation. I'll create my presentation. Okay, we'll give it a few seconds. Webinar is very slow. There we go. Now we're in the back end. We've got our navigation bar. We're in the template editor. Now, as I said, there's not a lot of editing that we need to do. On the front cover, we can put our own image. All of the other images in the presentation we've provided for you, except for your headshot and logo, but you can upload your own picture if you want. Like I can click on upload images and I could upload a picture of the house. So maybe the client that I'm meeting, I've gone over and taken a photograph of their house. Or maybe I just want to include a photograph of a house that I've done, a big sale that I've done. I can just drag and drop it over, just like we did yesterday when we were making the e-flyer. I hit render, there's my beautiful picture of my house. Now I can mouse over all of these fields and they are editable. So I'm going to put in my client's name, right? I get my little text box editor, same thing we saw yesterday, whatever their name is, Bob Smith, okay? Hit OK, it's going to render, and then I'll see the change right here. Okay, and then I can put in whatever date I want, or if I want to leave something empty, I can just delete it. Maybe I don't want a date. I don't want anything to show up there. So I just delete it, it renders, now it's gone. Okay, it's presented by me. There's my logo, right? So up here I've got my headshots and logos, just like we saw the other day. If I want to change it, I drag and drop a new one over top of it. If I don't want the logo there, I can just delete it, just like we saw yesterday when we were doing templates. If I don't want it to show up, okay, and then I can delete the actual image field so it's completely gone. So now I'll just have the nice background showing through. Okay, and then all I do is just go through page by page. Okay, and as I mouse over, you'll see these text fields are editable. The images I don't touch, but it just means that I can make changes to all of these. So real estate agent's profile, name, obviously I'm going to change that. I would put my name in, or I might delete that and just put Jana Beaumont's profile, whatever I want to do. Okay? So there's a lot of text. A lot of these pages are good to go. The section at the beginning is all about me and my agency, so I'm probably going to want to change. Well, obviously, I'm going to want to change this text because, as I mentioned, this is just sample text. But you get the idea. So I can go through the whole presentation, make my updates. I can also delete an entire page. So if there's a section in there that I don't want, maybe I don't want a section about the agency, I can just delete the pages that are about agency and they'll just be gone. Maybe I don't want this. They're just gone from the presentation. Now you'll notice once I've deleted them, I have a little button over here that says removed pages. If I decide that I do want them back, I've changed my mind, I just click on remove pages. There they are, and I can restore them. Maybe I just want to restore one of them. Okay, now it's back in my presentation. Okay, so that is how you edit this. Really easy. When I'm done, I'm going to view my proof. Okay, so this is my finished product. This is what it will look like. I can turn my pages, make sure everything is as it should be. If I want to make changes, I can go back to the template editor, click, use the navigation bar, and I'm right back in the editor, make whatever changes I want to make. Okay, then go back, view the proof. Okay, if I'm good to go, I just go to the shopping cart. Once I pay for it, I'll get a little message that just tells me it takes a few minutes for the system to generate the whole finished product. But if I was to go back to existing presentations, okay, there's the one we just made, my year-end presentation. Now I didn't pay for it, so I don't have all the extra goodies, but I can go in and edit it. I can delete it. It's going to be saved in the system. These are ones that I already did pay for, so they're good to go. Once they're paid for, you can always go in and edit it further. You can delete it completely. You can download a PDF of it. So we've made all of these pages 8.5 by 11 so that if you want to download a PDF and print it out and then bind it and have like a leave behind, maybe you have a client who's not tech savvy and does not want to watch this presentation, you know, on a screen, then you can also print it out. Now you can also download all the files as well if you want to. Most people use this digitally. Most people will, like, let's just click play. Most people will play this and they'll just copy the URL and send it in an email to a client saying, hey, I'm going to meet you tomorrow afternoon, but if you're interested, here's a link to watch my listing presentation. It's information all about myself and the services I offer. So, you know, here you go if you want to watch that digitally. The download is more for you to save on your own laptop. So right now, we're watching this. This is being saved on the Realtour servers. So if you're not sure that where you're meeting the person, the internet might not be the best and you don't want to rely on playing this out of your Realtour account, which you can, but if you're a little, you know, sometimes the internet isn't always the best depending on where you are, you can also download this and save it onto your laptop or your iPad or whatever, and then when you meet your client in person, you can play it right off of your computer. Then you don't have to worry about the internet. Okay, so I'm just going to close that. So those are the options right there. Okay, so that is the listing presentation. Again, as I said, it's probably 80 to 85% finished. You just go in and update the text on the sections about yourself and the testimonials. Or if you don't want those sections, you just delete them completely and you're done. Now the listing presentation is $39.99. But the good news is that if you're the kind of person who, you know, you don't necessarily have to save and make a new one for every time you meet a new client, you might make a more generic one that just has a more generic picture on the front and has generic information about yourself, and then you just pay for it once. And if you ever want to go in and just make small tweaks to you know, suit a new client, you can go into your existing one and just click on Edit Existing, make a few small tweaks that suit the client you're meeting, and you're good to go. You don't have to pay for it again. You only pay the $39.99 the one time, if you like. So it's a good deal. Okay, we've just gone through newsletters, listing presentations. Next up is making an email signature. So let's click on Create New. This is for people who maybe work on their own. A lot of big companies, you have corporate email signatures that you have to use, but some agents don't. Some agents are on their own. So we're going to give this a name. And again, this is just for our own personal files. You might have agents who have different signatures for different times of the year. You'll see when we go into our template library that we have some fun holiday themed ones. You might have a different phone number. I don't know. Either way, you can give it a name. Let's call this my holiday SIG for 2016. Now I don't use Microsoft Office, I'm using Gmail, so I'm just going to click no and then click continue. Okay, Again, here's my navigation bar that goes across the top of the page. I'm choosing a template type. So we basically have two different layouts. We have information where, templates where the information is aligned more to the left, and then we have some that are aligned more to the center. When we first built this, we had all different alignments, but they just didn't really work, and the majority of people really only want these two layouts, so we stuck with this. If we get a call for more layouts and stuff in the future, we'll definitely make more templates, but to get started, we've just done the basic ones. And I can click on preview to see a bigger version. Okay, that's what it's going to look like. If I like that layout, I'm going to click select, and it's going to bring me into the template library. Now we don't have a ton of categories in here because e-signatures are fairly new, but as I said, if people start requesting them, we will make more. Now just for fun, let's go into holidays. Let's say that I have my basic email signature that I use, my corporate one that I use, but for the holidays, I wanted to do something fun. I want to do a Christmas one, so we have some Christmas ones to choose from. I can click on preview. There it is. That looks nice. Maybe I'll use that one. I click select, and it's going to bring me into the template editor. So this is what the editor page looks like. Here is my email signature. So just like with all of our products, as I edit it, it's going to change right in front of my eyes. So I never have to leave this page, which is really handy. Over here I have my images, headshots, logos, okay? And I can edit all the content down here using these tabs. So headshots and logos. Now it's going to auto-populate with my headshot and my logo that I have in my account. It's already auto-populated with all my contact information because I have all that stuff in my account, okay? So it's, as I said yesterday, it makes it so worth it to just go in and fill in this information because then you don't have to do it later when you're making your products. If I want to change my headshot, I can just click. Now I've got a new headshot. Same with logos. If I want to change my logo, I just click and the logo just updates right there. Okay, if I want to change any of the contact info in here, I do that in these little fields. So for example, let's say I don't want this phone number. I'm going to delete it. It's just deleted. Okay, if I have a different phone number, I can just type that in right here and it just appears right in my template. Now I notice that I have a comma there. I don't have a state for some reason. Let's add my state. There we go, Austin, Texas. Okay. So that's all you have to do to change this information, just fill in the fields. So that's the main stuff. Next up we have view my listings. Let's click on that one. You'll notice right here we have a link, view my listings. You have three options for that link. The first option is that you can show all of your listings on the Realtour house hunt map. Now you may or may not remember yesterday when I created a new listing when I was making my photo shoot, I got a pop-up that said, do you want this listing to appear on House Hunt? And at the time I said no, and I told you guys that we would go over House Hunt today instead. So now is our segue into House Hunt. So House Hunt is really just a little marketing tool that you guys can use to show your listings presented nicely on a Google map, okay? So let's just leave the email signature for a minute. We're going to click here to view my listings on House Hunt, just so you guys can see what it looks like. Okay, so first of all, this is only going to show my listings, right? Obviously, if it's in my email signature, I don't want to advertise other people's listings. I only want to advertise my own. Now, I will say I only have a couple listings because I'm not a real estate agent. Obviously, I just have a few set up. I should delete this one in Washington because it just makes my map really big. Typically, it will zoom in to include all of your listings. Normally, your listings would all be in Texas, so it would be more zoomed in. It would look more like this with your listings. So I should really delete that one from Seattle. Okay, so we're just on a Google map. These are my listings. I've got 3 in Austin. If I mouse over, I can see them. Here's one with 4 pictures. Scroll down, there's the second one, there's the third one. Now I have a few things I can do. I can view my tour right here, and my little virtual tour will pop up in a little pop-up window, which is nice. Sorry for the slowness. There it is. So I can watch the tour, and it's just a pop-up window, so I can close it as soon as I'm done watching. Okay. I can get a few more details. If I click that, scroll down, there's the property description and the price. I mean, showing it on the map. I can add it to my favorites. Let's close that. Let's zoom in. Now this is, like I said, it's just a Google map, so I can move around, I can zoom in. Here's one of my listings right here. Okay. If I zoom in more, I can see my amenities. Let's zoom in a little bit more. There we go. So here's all of my amenities. So let's say I wanted to look at where the grocery stores are, where the restaurants are. Maybe I'm not familiar with this neighborhood. So I can play around with amenities. Okay. I can zoom out. I can move around. Like I said, it's just a Google map, so it just behaves the same way a Google map does. And this is just going to show my listings. Okay. So that's all House Hunt is at this point. At some point, we might turn it more into a search engine. I mean, right now, an agent could go on to House Hunt and they could say, okay, well, that's fine, but I also want to search for other listings, right? They can search for other Realtour listings if they want, and we may develop it further in the future, but right now we're just using it as a little marketing tool. It's just a way for you to showcase your listings on a map. So let's close that. We're back in our email signature. So I have the option of viewing my listings on House Hunt. I just tick that. Or I may want to show listings that are showcased on my own website if I want to do that, or some other website. So I can just put the URL in here, or I don't want to show my listings and the little link just disappeared. Okay? But let's just say we want to show it on House Hunt. There we go. Our next tab is social media. So again, if you want to add some social media links, you just copy and paste the URLs to all of your social media pages. Now to save time, I'm just going to type in a letter, and you'll see as I'm doing each one, the little icon is showing up on my email signature. Okay? So someone could click on each of these and go to the appropriate associated social media page. Last but not least, disclaimer. I have the option of including a disclaimer or not. Now we have given you a very simple one-line disclaimer. This is an editable text field. If I don't like that disclaimer, I can delete it. I can, add to it. I could copy and paste my own company. Maybe I've got my own disclaimer that I have to use. I can do that. If I want to include it, I tick yes. That's where it's going to show up at the very bottom of my email signature. Okay? All right. So that is all we can do on the editor page. Email signatures are pretty small, so that's it. When we're done, we can click continue or view proof. We go to the same place. Okay, so this is where you can view the proof, make sure everything is the way it should be. You can click on these links because they're live, make sure they go to the appropriate pages. View my listings, check your website address, make sure everything works. If it doesn't, go back to the editor, make your changes. If it does work, click continue and you'll go to the shopping cart. Now, I do believe our email signatures, the corporate ones are $18.99, but the holiday ones are only $7.99. And we've made them cheaper so that people can use them just throughout the year, just for fun. We have Halloween ones, we have Thanksgiving ones, we have spring, Easter ones, just for fun. If you want to change up your email signature, we've made the holiday ones cheaper, so you're more likely to use them. Most people will just use the corporate one and they'll use it for the whole year, so it's $18.99. Okay, so let's jump back to existing items just so you can see what do I do now. I've made the email signature, but now what? It's just saved in my Realtour account. How do I get it into my actual email provider? So these are the email signatures I've made. Here's our Christmas one. Again, I can go in and edit it. I can delete it out of the system if I don't want it anymore. I can click on instructions. I get a pop-up and I can choose between the email providers and I'll get different instructions for each one. Okay, so I'm Gmail. Now I can scroll down and see step by step with little pictures what I'm supposed to do to get my email signature in my email provider. Okay, it's pretty easy, but each provider is slightly different. All right, so let's just do this one because I've already paid for it. So once you've paid for your signature, you'll get a download button. I didn't pay for this one, but this one I did. So let's click on download. Okay, it's asking me what I want to do. I want to save it. This is an HTML file now, so I'm going to save it. Okay, it's going into my downloads. Okay, so I have my computer set up so that when I save things that I'm downloading, it goes into my download folder. Open that up. There it is at the top. I double click to open it. Okay, there it is. Now what I need to do now is select all of this. So you can right click and choose select all, or if you use your keyboard shortcuts, you can hit Control A to select it all. Now I need to copy. I could right click and copy, or I can Control C to copy. I go into my Gmail, which is right here. I go into settings right here. Gmail makes it very easy. Now I'm in settings. I just scroll down to signature, and right here in the signature field, I just paste. I can right click and paste or Control V and paste. There's my signature. All I have to do now is hit save, and that signature will now be added. And I'll hit compose. So if I'm going to compose a new email, here, I'll just make that bigger. There's my new signature. Hey, everyone. Right? There's my new signature. So that's how you put it into Gmail. Hotmail's pretty similar as well. They're all a little bit different, but they're all pretty similar. Okay? All right, let's go back to our dashboard. Okay, guess what? We're done. We've just gone through newsletters. Remember, we did the ready to send or build your own. We did the listing presentation, which you can use as a little digital, it's like a little digital resume presentation all about yourself and what you have to offer. We just made an email signature, and we had the email signature link to House Hunt, which just displays all of my listings on a Google map. So it's just a little marketing tool for someone to go and look at my listings and see where they are. Okay? So these are tools that our agents will use more to brand themselves. As I said, you can do a build your own newsletter to market a listing if you want, but I figure with our e-flyer templates, it's so much easier to just use a e-flyer template to market your listing. But you can do a build your own newsletter for that. Okay, so that concludes today's session. If anybody has any questions, let me know. And as I said, I did record today's session, so I'll put that up on YouTube later, and then we'll send everybody a link so you can watch this again at any time you like. Okay, any questions? Okay, well, thanks everybody, and have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you another time. Bye.